have been on video.
It is on video. Are you moaning at me?
You keep stabbing me.
Moaning at me. Hey there folks, welcome to Boating on a Budget with me, the tight Yorkshireman.
And me, Dawn.
And you, Dawn. You moaning Dawn.
Well,
but I guess as what you can see from that though is it's time we got on with some jobs, isn't it?
yeah, definitely.
We've had to own this boat nearly 4 months now, so I think I've done well to not actually have to get stuck in too much into the project.
Yeah.
But yes, there are now a few jobs that need doing around the place, including sorting this tiller out that you were just moaning about. I think though, to start this video off, we'll show that little clip that we took just as we came out the top of Ordland Flight. Ordland Flight is 15 locks.
Right, yeah.
So by the time we got up there, you're ready for a break, aren't you?
Yeah.
Especially the one doing the windy wind with the windlass.
Yeah.
It's alright for me, so on the back here. Yeah, and the towpath was really muddy as well. So yeah, as we came out of the final lock at the top of Ordland Flight, this is what we found. Dawn, why are you rummaging through our emergency coin jar?
I found a shop just down there, look.
Oh,
just
yes.
down there. Go and have a look, Peter.
One of the local houses obviously has took advantage of the fact they're on the side of the canal, and they've made a little pop-up shop. And just look at some of these goodies. Cakes, buns, and in here pork pies and pasties. So Dawn's raiding our emergency copper jar to see how much we can rummage together. Those goodies were a very welcome treat, weren't they? Very welcome.
Dog.
They were
Giddy kipper.
we were both extremely happy, and they were delicious as well.
Oh, they were.
Apparently the lady bakes everything herself in the house and then puts it out on there. We were told afterwards, if you time it right, you can actually get the pork pie, because we had a pork pie, a pasty and a brownie. You can actually get the pork pies and pasties and things as they come out of the oven where they're still hot. So
I'd have just moved in.
yeah, if they had a mooring right there, that's it. We'd have been changing our mooring.
I'd never have gone home.
Yeah, but I think that just shows it's part of the little joys of this sort of adventure, the things that we're going to find. We knew nothing about that, just stumbled upon it.
Yeah.
Work wise though, what have we got to do? What have we not got to do? Remember, this is not a project boat. It's not a project boat.
Jobs,
but yeah, the first thing that we need to look at doing is there's a radiator on the one side of the boat. It's attached to the log burner via a back boiler, but ever since we've had the boat, it's not worked. And as you'll see, the main reason that we're doing this is because we're moving the log burner.
Yeah.
So we needed to remove the radiator, sorry, and then we did a bit of painting and things, knocking around, haven't we, just to brighten it up, because as you see with this boat, it's only got porthole windows, hasn't it?
Dark.
So it's a lot sort of darker inside, especially when the side hatches are closed.
Yeah.
And the person who'd had it before had kind of painted it fairly darkish colours, haven't they?
Black, red.
Yeah, they were
really
blacks,
dark
reds.
grey.
Yeah, so it wanted a bit of a clean up and a sort out. So take the radiator off, do a bit of painting,
Brighten the joint up.
Another job that you can actually see we've already done is sorting this tiller out, the thing that Dawn was moaning about. Cut it down a little bit and polished it up and what have you. So we'll show the footage of that.
Anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't stab you anymore, so you can stop your moaning. Obviously there wasn't a lot to it, but we just got a little bit of footage of when I did that. Mainly did that to stop Dawn moaning. But seeing as you've polished this up, that means you've got your tin of brasso out.
I have, yeah.
And on the roof of this boat there's about 6 mushrooms. The mushrooms are the vents that sort of let fresh air in, and they're all brass. And they're looking a bit faded.
Faded? They don't even look like brass.
Exactly. Well volunteered. That'll be another little job on your list.
Nice.
Nice to add jobs to your list rather than my list. The first job that you're going to see though is us moving things like the solar panels on the roof and a few bits and bobs inside. The main reason for that though is because at the minute the log burner's down at the front of the boat, isn't it? Down at the bow. It's the bow, isn't it?
Pointy bit.
Pointy bit, bow, front, whatever you want to call it. And obviously because it's right down at the front or the bow, it means as you walk down the boat when the log burner's on and it's cold, obviously the boat gets colder and colder till you get to the stern square blunt bit.
Blunt end.
Where basically you can't even tell that the log burner's on,
No,
can you, when you get
wouldn't
down
know.
here?
No.
So what we decided, even before we viewed the boat, was if we bought it, which obviously we did,
Yes.
we would move the log burner from right down at the front, the bow, to midships. That's halfway down the boat.
Midships.
Midships. So to do that, it means obviously moving the chimney, and where the chimney needed to be for the log burner is where the solar panels were.
Yeah.
So we've had to move the solar panels. It's all like bits of jigsaw, isn't it? You can't do one without doing the other.
No.
So the first bit you'll see now is moving those solar panels, then sorting the tiller out, and then although it's slightly out of sequence, we've just tagged on the back end doing the radiator.
Yeah.
The process of moving the solar panels started off by undoing the nuts and bolts that hold each panel to the bracket. It was then time for me and Dawn to do a funny walk down the boat whilst trying to balance a solar panel and not fall in the water. To remove the brackets from the roof, I used an 8mm socket attached to the drill and slowly undid them. The last thing I wanted was for these bolts to snap, leaving me with the issue of trying to get a broken bolt out of the roof. Once again, me and Dawn did the funny dance down the boat to bring that solar panel back down to where it needed to be in its new position. Before fine-tuning the position of the solar panel, making sure it was perfectly in line down the centre of the boat, I reattached the bracket using the nuts and bolts that I'd taken off originally. Having checked, double checked and even triple checked that the panels were exactly in line and perfectly placed where I wanted them, I then marked round the brackets so that we could lift the panel out the way once again, doing the silly walk down the boat. This meant the solar panel was out of the way and I got plenty of room to reposition those brackets, ready to reattach them. I used the drill just to mark the roof where I needed the hole, then proceeded to drill a 4mm pilot hole using a nice sharp drill bit. To fasten the bracket down, I was using the same sort of self-tapping screws originally came out. However, I did make sure I got new ones of these. Part of the reason for that is that on the new ones the thread will bite better through the roof, and also they come with a rubber washer that makes a seal and stops any rainwater getting in. And obviously the last thing we want is water to start coming in the roof of the boat. You probably noticed as I took the original brackets off the roof, they were also glued into position. At the moment I'm not adding any adhesive because we are going to want to take these off in the coming months when it's time to repaint that roof. Obviously the weather conditions at the moment aren't suitable for painting, so that's a job for the future. It was then time for me and Dawn to do that funny dance down the side of the boat again, as we shimmy along the gunnels whilst carrying a large solar panel. Fortunately I'd attached the brackets in exactly the right place to the roof, and it meant that with minimal effort we were able to get that solar panel bolted back to those brackets and firmly in place. There are actually two solar panels on the roof, but I didn't feel there was any need to film doing the second one, as it was basically the same routine as the first. As a side note, you can see there one of the mushrooms that we mentioned earlier that needs a really good polish. So at some stage in the coming days, weeks, or maybe even months, I'm sure Dawn will get the Brasso out and give it a good clean up. And talking of getting the Brasso out, it's almost time to have a look at how we adjusted that tiller and got that all clean and shiny as well.
That's on at an angle, it keeps stabbing.
Yeah, well I need to tweak it all. When I cut it off I can
But I'm saying it's not, you might have to swap that one for that one, because it's stabbing me.
Yeah, but
It's got a point on it.
we're not going to have these, are we? We're going to have our own.
And then now, so it stops stabbing. Oh, I said so it stops stabbing me. That should have been on video.
It is on video. Are you moaning at me?
Because you keep stabbing me.
Moaning at me. There were two main reasons for altering this tiller. The first one being, as Dawn was pointing out there, the holes aren't exactly in line, so it meant whenever I pushed the tiller over to the right, that meant that one of the tiller pins actually jabbed into Dawn's leg, and obviously she wasn't very happy about that. The other reason it needed sorting was it seemed to be a little bit too long, and it meant that whilst the tiller was in position, it made it very difficult to get in and out of the boat without catching the tiller. And especially on these very narrow canals, the last thing you want is the tiller being pushed in the wrong direction by someone who's popping down into the boat, even if it is because they're making a cuppa. Once I'd cut the tiller down to the required length and re-drilled the holes in the correct position, it was then over to Dawn to polish it up and make it sparkle. Initial efforts using a cloth with the Brasso proved quite, shall we say, frustrating. So she upped a game, got some wire wool out, cracked on with that, and I'm sure you'll agree, the results are perfect.
Oh, that's better.
Well, it's Bank Holiday Monday here in the UK, so that means one thing and one thing only. Rain. So while it's raining, we're doing a few jobs inside. Having fun there, Dawn?
I love painting.
You don't love painting as much as I love painting. It's like rock, paper, scissors for who ends up painting, isn't it, in our house?
Absolutely.
It is just smartening it up a little bit though, isn't it?
Yeah, it just brightens it up.
Yes, because this top half was quite a dark grey when we first got the boat, similar to the bottom half. And because we've only got portholes, it means when the side hatches are closed, which they are at the minute, it's actually quite dark in here.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So painting it with the lighter paints is just brightening it up. I think, however, I need to go and find some other job to do, like...
I think you either put the kettle on or grab a paintbrush, one or the
Oh,
other.
no, I was thinking like having a little walk to the pub and seeing what's happening in there.
If you dare.
Challenge accepted.
It went to challenge.
If I just lift the camera up there, we can see, if it'll focus, which it probably won't, the Shroppy Fly pub is just there. So it won't take me far to... In fact, the bins are next to it. I'll go and empty the bins, dear.
That's a good idea. Good idea.
Unsurprisingly, the trip to the pub didn't happen. Instead, it was decided that I needed to crack on and get this radiator out the way so that Dawn could continue with the painting. As we'd mentioned, this radiator was actually plumbed into the back boiler that's connected to the log burner. But in the time that we've had the boat, it's never worked, and we're moving the log burner anyway. We needed it out the way. That's a few jobs ticked off the list then, but I'm sure you'll be putting more jobs onto the bottom of the list as I tick them off the top of the list.
I'll add two.
Added back. Oh, thanks. I'll tick one off, you'll add two on. But no, so I think that's kind of got everyone up to date. The next main bit now is we're going to actually prep and get sorted for moving the log burner itself, which is going to involve cutting holes in the roof and taking panelling down and all sorts of things that
Causing chaos.
you'd think means that this boat's a project boat.
It's not a project.
It's not a project, it just needs a bit of fine tuning.
I'll tune you.
So join us next time when we'll be chopping holes in roofs. Absolute carnage will commence.
We will.
So thanks for watching, folks. Bye bye.
Bye bye.